There's a peculiar old bus that runs through the countryside. Locals call it the MidnightCoach. Nobody remembers when it started making its rounds, but one thing is certain: you don't want to be the last passenger on that bus. The legend begins with Martha Blake, a schoolteacher from a quiet village. It was late one winter evening, and Martha was going home after visiting her sister in a neighboring town. The road back was lonely, and a thick fog had rolled in, making it nearly impossible to see the way. Luckily, she spotted the dim lights of a bus coming down the road. The bus pulled beside her at a stop that no longer existed on any map, but Martha didn't think much of it. She just wanted to get home. Inside, the bus was strangely empty, save for a shadowy figure of a man sitting at the far end. The driver, a pale man with deep-set eyes, didn't say a word as she stepped aboard. The door creaked shut behind her. As the bus rolled forward, the streetlights outside flickered in and out of existence. Martha tried to shake the growing sense of unease creeping up her spine. She told herself it was just her imagination, but something felt wrong. The shadowy figure at the back of the bus hadn't moved an inch since she got on. Time seemed to drag on, and when Martha glanced out of the window, she realized they were no longer on the main road. The fog had thickened, and the bus was now winding through a forest path she didn't recognize. Panic started to settle in her chest, and she stood up to approach the driver. "Excuse me, where are we?" she asked, her voice trembling. The driver didn't respond. His eyes stared straight ahead, unblinking. Suddenly, the bus jolted, throwing Martha back into her seat. The lights inside flickered, and for a brief moment she saw something or someone moving in the dark near the shadowy passenger at the back. She strained to see, but the light blinked out again. The figure was still. She wasn't alone. A cold whisper brushed against her ear, sending shivers down her spine. "You shouldn't have gotten on." Martha whipped around, but no one was there. Her heart pounded in her chest as she scanned the empty seats. Then, she heard it again, closer this time. "You're the last one now." The bus lurched again, and when the lights flickered back on, the shadowy figure was gone. She could feel something watching her, something cold and malevolent. Desperately, she ran toward the front of the bus, but the driver was gone too. His seat was empty, the steering wheel turning on its own. The bus stopped. The doors creaked open to reveal nothing but a dense, swirling fog outside. Martha hesitated. She didn't want to stay on the bus, but stepping off felt even more dangerous. Behind her, she heard the soft sound of footsteps slowly approaching. With no other choice, she bolted for the door, leaping into the fog. For a moment, everything was silent. The fog swallowed her whole, making it impossible to see where she was. She ran blindly through the mist, her breath coming in ragged gasps. Then, she saw a small, dim light flickering in the distance. A town, perhaps? Or someone who could help her? She ran toward the light, but as she got closer, she realized it wasn't a town at all. It was the bus. The same bus she had just escaped. The doors opened, and inside, she saw herself sitting in the last row, staring out blankly into the night. Martha screamed, but no sound came out. The fog closed in around her, and she was gone. To this day, people still claim to see the midnight coach on foggy nights. It travels roads that shouldn't exist, and sometimes, if you're unlucky, it might stop for you. But whatever you do, don't be the last passenger.